Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Tales of Herding Gods based on novel. So let's start. Qin Mu used a lot of time and effort to refine the poison. It was multi-composite, requiring him to refine it numerous times. He had to first make hundreds of basic poison pills, then use them to feed venomous creatures, for example, venomous worms, toads, and various insects. Once they were ready, he used them as fertilizer for poisonous mushrooms and grass. He did it numerous times until he managed to refine a couple poisonous eggs which he planted into the bone marrow of the two legs. Those poisonous eggs would not dissolve on their own, but when bone marrow began producing blood again, their shells would break, and the poison inside would flow into all parts of the body through the bloodstream, spoiling the person's divine treasures, breaking his primordial spirit, and wiping out his soul. Qin Mu had just finished refining the strange poison and saving some poisonous eggs for backup when Cai Yunxiang brought him news. The elders and experts skilled in 5 demons transferring technique have arrived. Qin Mu let out a sigh of relief and said solemnly, "Please invite them." Cai Yunxiang invited the people of Heavenly Devil Cult over, and Qin Mu surveyed them. He saw that numerous people of Heavenly Devil Cult were indeed generals in the army, for they had rushed to him without even wasting time to take off their armor. 5 demons transferring technique wasn't an extremely powerful spell, and it wasn't mainstream. It was a spell of the lowest professions, but in reality, even the weakest spells contained unimaginable power. There were no good and bad spells. The crucial point lay in only how one used them. If Qin Mu wanted to fight his way into the courtyard of fragrance, well, then even if his people had learned the most powerful spell divine arts, even if they were on divine bridge realm and ready to make sacrifices, they might not be able to stop God Bishi from activating 5 thunderpot. Yet the lowest 5 demons transferring technique could move 5 thunderpot away without anyone having to die. "Gentlemen." Qin Mu bowed and greeted them. "We can only succeed this time, no failure is allowed. Otherwise, once the lightning covers eternal peace, I don't know how many people will die miserably. Whether or not we succeed, we will have to see everyone's abilities." The cult member hurried to return the greeting. "All part of our duty. We don't dare to accept cult master's greeting." Qin Mu straightened his back and said solemnly, "North, south, east, west, and middle, 5 great thunderclouds are in 5 thunderpot, and there are firebell divine weapons in the thunderclouds. Even if it's just simply moving this divine treasure, we have to be extremely careful not to activate the power within it. Does anyone have any understanding of the 5 great thunderclouds?" Everyone looked at one another in dismay. An elder stepped out of the ranks and said, "Cult master, I have some understanding in regards to the 5 great thunderclouds and the firebell divine weapons. I have wandered around in my early years and come across a strange book in the Black Tortoise Temple of Great Ruins. On it was recorded some anecdotes about North Deity." Qin Mu's expression changed slightly. "Great Ruins again. The 5 great thunderclouds and firebell divine weapons are treasures forged by North Deity." The elder who spoke was Elder Saigong of Heavenly Devil Cult. North Deity is also known as Black Tortoise Great Deity and is skilled in thunderspell divine arts. The 5 great thunderclouds and firebell divine weapons are his masterpieces and possess extreme power. In Black Tortoise Temple of Great Ruins, that strange book was carved on the back of a black turtle. Its whole body was made out of foundry iron, and it was extremely difficult to flip through it. I had managed to open 2 pages and read some records. Founding Emperor had once held a banquet and invited North Deity, who called thunderclouds to run through all the worlds, and Founding Emperor couldn't help exclaiming endlessly about it. As for what that strange book means, I don't know." Qin Mu was astonished. North Deity and Founding Emperor? There was a connection between them? North Deity had once been invited by Founding Emperor as a guest. In the book, some of the marvels of North Deity's 5 great thunderclouds were mentioned, and I had researched some thunder spells after that. Elder Saigong took a breath and then continued, "Great thundercloud spell has been long lost, but there's little thundercloud spell in great educational Heavenly Devil scriptures, and it is what I cultivate. Even though I only saw 2 pages of that strange book, it allowed the cultivation of my little thundercloud spell to improve greatly, so I reaped quite the benefit. If Cult Master can believe me, let me be in charge of this 5 demons transfer. Qin Mu nodded and said, the power of little thundercloud spell is not insignificant, and since Elder Saigong cultivates this spell, why don't you exchange some pointers with me? Tell me about your understanding in regards to little thundercloud spell. Elder Saigong told him about the art which he had comprehended in front of everyone, and Qin Mu listened to it carefully, corroborating it with his own great educational heavenly devil scriptures. When Elder Saigong finished talking about that, did he talk about his understanding regarding it? Ever since he was young, Qin Mu had received pointers from the 9 elders of disabled elderly village. The height of his horizons had long ago reached a height that ordinary people couldn't hope to reach. On top of that, he'd had other opportunities, like woodcutters imparting scriptures, the grooming of Qin Hanshan on the treasure ship, comprehension in Great Thunderclap Monastery, comprehension of Tao Sword on the stone tablet, comprehension in Little Jade Capital, and peeking into Imperial Preceptor comprehending Tao in Qingmen Pass. Even though his horizons couldn't be said to be number 1 in the world, there were not many who could surpass him. Little Thundercloud spell was one of the spells in great educational heavenly devil scriptures, and the rock on which Woodcutter had imparted his teachings already had a deep explanation of this spell. With the pointers of Deaf, this great scholar, and his own understanding, that of someone who was the great master who founded 6 Directions Primordial Spirit, giving pointers to Elder Saigong on thunder spells was no problem for him. Qin Mu lectured and everyone looked as though they were intoxicated. They gained their own comprehension. After Elder Saigong heard everything, he couldn't help admiring Qin Mu. He was completely won over and praised. Cult Master is a genius, a natural-born sacred cult master. Even though Qin Mu was young, had just hit 16 years old and his cultivation was still on 6 Directions realm, his knowledge was great, and the depth of his understanding could already win over a divine bridge practitioner like him. Comprehend in detail. We will have to move 5 thunderpot in a few days. Turning around then, Qin Mu asked Sai Yunxiang, where is the Emperor now? He just reached Serene Prefecture, which is still over 10 days of journey from here, Sai Yunxiang said. His Majesty's plan is for Cult Master to delay for 10 days. If you can't do that, you need to at least get him 8 days. At that time, he will fire the cannon from 5,000 miles away and kill Bai Shi. Qin Mu shook his head. Bai Shi won't give us 8 days. He will make a decision in 3 to 5 days' time. How's the battle in God Broken Mountain Range? Sai Yunxiang frowned. That place is already destroyed, and the aftermath of the divine arts can be seen everywhere. Even so, experts of Celestial Being Realm still can't go inside. The Emperor has ordered the soldiers at Eternal Border and Secret Waters to retreat, abandoning Secret Waters Pass to prevent them from being dragged into the fray. As for the outcome of the battle, she shook her head. The Emperor has ordered the generals of the 2 passes to go forward and investigate, but there are still no news. No one has walked out as of now. Qin Mu's heart squeezed, and he let out a shaky breath. His gaze became sharp. In that case, after solving this matter with God Bishi, I will go over there personally. I want to see them if they are alive or their bodies if they are dead. Elder Saigong, I'll give you guys 2 days. Prepare as soon as possible. We won't wait for the Emperor anymore. Elder Saigong and the rest were awed. They immediately went to practice how to cast the spell with 100 people. To make 100 people cooperate seamlessly and execute the same technique without messing up and activating the power of 5 thunderpot in 2 days was very difficult. However, time was running out, so they had no choice but to practice more. Suddenly, the divine arts practitioner guarding the courtyard of Fragrance Well came to report. Cult Master Qin, the god has invited you. Qin Mu's spirit moved slightly and he rose to head over to the courtyard of Fragrance Well. God Bishi's complexion was much better. It was evident that he had refined pills to treat his own injuries, so they were much lighter. His cultivation had also become a lot healthier. However, he had chopped off one of his legs, so it was impossible for him to escape. Because of that, Qin Mu was afraid he would fall into depression and active 5 thunderpot, beside which he spent all of his time. Little friend, there have been many guests recently, eh? The horn on God Bishi's head glowed and rings of light slid down from the tip of it, flowing through his whole body. Qin Mu examined the light, and his heart moved slightly. It was shaking up the god's corporeal body, forcing the spoiled blood out. It had to be a kind of body refinement technique which could make the body recover quicker. Before that, God Bishi had been beaten up quite miserably, so he didn't even have the possibility to escape for his life. But now that some of his cultivation had started to recover, he was trying to recover the strength of his corporeal body as well. Those that came are all just small figures and can't threaten a god like you. Is that true? Qin Mu said with a smile, I can see that your abilities are recovering quite fast, and it makes me worried. I'm afraid that you will go back on your promise. I've already waited for some 7 days, and I don't think there's a point to wait for much more. It'd be best if we signed the Pact of Earth Count, and there's no better time than now, so why don't we do it today? What promise? Did I have a promise with you? Ha ha ha. God Bishi laughed, and his voice was like thunder, ringing throughout the entire city. I'm joking. Look at your pale face, it's completely white. Since you have already waited for some 7 days, why don't you wait some more? Didn't you say you wanted to attach a divine leg for me? I haven't connected it yet, so when I have both legs again, we shall sign the Pact of Earth Count. Qin Mu's face changed slightly, and he said coldly, your abilities have already recovered so much, so if I attach your leg and you activate 5 thunderpot and run, won't I have to bear the sin of having allowed you to wipe out countless people in eternal peace? Your leg can wait. Let's do it after we sign the Pact of Earth Count. God Bishi placed his palm on 5 thunderpot and beamed at him. You are called Qin Mu, right? I asked the divine arts practitioners around here, Heavenly Devil Cult Master Qin Mu. But you are also human emperor, someone truly powerful to have broken one of my legs. Xu Shenghua went to find you, but he never returned, so you should have gotten rid of him. This is no wonder though, how could he fight against you? Come over, attach my leg, and we can talk then. Otherwise, I will activate this 5 thunderpot immediately. Qin Mu's face changed drastically and he shouted, Divine Flood Dragon King. Watery light pulsed behind him and the Divine Flood Dragon King appeared with a bow. Divine Flood Dragon King is right here. What do you command, Your Majesty? God Bishi sneered. Don't fool around, Cult Master Qin. My hand is still on 5 thunderpot. The corners of Qin Mu's eyes crinkled, then like spring wind and rain, the stern expression on his face vanished and he laughed loudly. Senior Brother Bishi is indeed powerful, I'll help you attach your leg back. Divine Flood Dragon King, there's no need to be nervous. Come man, bring up the medicine I refined. Senior Brother Bishi, where's the leg you have chosen? Take it out. God Bishi threw the shorter leg over and said with a smile, the length of this leg is not suitable. Take out the other 2 legs, and I'll choose again. The smile of Qin Mu's face froze, frowning a little. God Bishi stood on one leg with a smile on his face as he said leisurely, does Cult Master Qin have any opinion? Qin Mu took in a long, deep breath, then took out the other 2 divine legs while gritting his teeth tightly. No, I don't. Senior Brother Bishi, please choose. God Bishi took a look at him and laughed when he saw that Qin Mu's face was black. Young man still can't remain calm. His magic power poured out and he swept up the 2 divine legs. He examined them in detail, but didn't discover Qin Mu doing anything to them. I'll choose this one. Divine Physician Qin, help me attach it. May Senior Brother lie down, Qin Mu said with barely held back anger. God Bishi lay down with his palm still on 5 thunderpot. He said leisurely, don't try to play any tricks. If my hand just makes a slight move, 5 thunderpot will explode, and it'll be even easier for the thunderclouds to destroy the world. The treasure of North Deity could turn even founding Emperor's empire into great ruins, so what chance does eternal peace stand, he. God Bishi kept staring at Qin Mu who cautious and conscientious, attaching the other's leg seriously without any complaint. He sutured the root of the leg with the leg chosen by the god. Senior Brother Bishi is not a human, right? Qin Mu examined the nerves and activated the nerve system of the broken section, nursing it with medicine. I see the structure of your body is different that of humans. What is your race? Light poured out from the heart of God Bishi's brows and a primordial spirit soared out. It was a dragon horse which had wings on its back and a long horn on its head. Its mane fluttered in the wind as its body shone from its snow-white color. The dragon horse was lively and full of enthusiasm, truly having the vitality attributed to its name-bearers. Qin Mu raised his head to take a look before praising, "You are a divine steed. This kind of primordial spirit is rare. Using the term divine steed to describe me is also according to the times." God Bishi's primordial spirit stared at his actions. "However, I rarely show my true form. During founding Emperor. Cough, cough. In the past, of course, before you were born, divine steeds like me could only deliver letters to people and be their mounts. It was truly a waste of our talents." Qin Mu's expression changed slightly and he asked, "In that case, how did senior brother Bishi go to high heavens?" The god sighed. "The heaven changed, the earth changed, even lowly gods like my kind received our day to shine. Not long after the calamity, I surrendered. After that, great ruins appeared. Back then, many of those who had surrendered with me shone brighter and were all better at currying favor than me, so they left this world to enjoy their lives, leaving only a few of us behind. Those fellows were all good at bootlicking, but I was not. It was fine anyway though, better be a chicken's beak than a cow's rump." He smiled. Even though those fellows knew how to bootlick, the moment they reached the upper realm, they became the lowest of the low there. Because of that, they are worse off than us who stay at the lower realm, riding roughshod over people and staying high up at the top, enjoying people's worship and sacrifices. "Yet, you are still no more than a runner until now," Qin Mu said with a smile. God Bishi was furious and his god's aura burst forth. "What did you say?" Qin Mu smiled. "Don't get agitated and make me connect the wrong nerve, or you'll be limping even after I attach your leg back." God Bishi sighed. "You are right, I'm indeed a runner. I had run to deliver letters in the past and I'm now running to bring disaster to this land. All the dirty works are thrown at me, and I'm even dirtier than I was in the past. But it can't be helped. If I don't do what they ask, it will be hard for me to escape death. How strong are the four sovereigns of high heavens? Their abilities are greater than mine, but they can still only be runners. Not only that, we also have to risk our lives. Who can say how many of us will make it through this?" His eyes narrowed from worry. Up till then, the other meteorological weapons had not been activated. It meant that Star Sovereign Qiao and the rest were most likely dead. If you were to surrender to me, I could make you a mountain god and you enjoy your sacrifices. Why don't you be a mountain god beside surging river so you can accompany dragon-rearing sovereign? All the people who hang themselves on the mountain and jump off the cliffs would be your food. I have a good place, there's a mountain beside Deer County called 100 Years Mountain. Its scenery is beautiful and the mountain is over 300,000 feet tall. If you became a mountain god there, it wouldn't be an insult to you. Bah! God Bishi smiled at him. I'm not a shameless person like dragon-rearing sovereign. I've already surrendered once, so how can I surrender again? Do I still want my face? What's more, I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat humans. I had wanted to be a mountain god in the past, but it was a pity I was too fast, so I had to deliver letters as a runner. If I had run slightly slower, I might have just landed myself an official position." Qin Mu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "This is your abilities being detrimental to you." God Bishi smiled. "You are quite a good person and also kind. I admire you very much. After you attach my leg, we can sit down for a talk. Even if Eternal Peace Empire is wiped out, you can follow me to high heavens. I can't promise anything, but I can at least protect you and your whole family." Qin Mu gave his thanks. "It's good to leave a way out for myself too. I've long wanted to go to high heavens, but I don't have divine incense so I can't contact them. This is easy, I have some." God Bishi's gaze flickered as he said, "As long as you treat my injuries and let me successfully call on this disaster, I'll bring you to high heavens." Qin Mu scattered some powder on the broken section of the leg and saw nerves growing rapidly, waving their tentacles like earthworms. I had planned to sign the Pact of Earth Count with you to prevent you from bringing the disaster, yet you advised me to surrender. Senior brother, after your leg is attached, let us sign the Pact of Earth Count immediately. You can't go back on your word this time. God Bishi looked at his hand techniques and saw his fingers moving up and down quickly. The speed of his fingers was too much for the eyes to take in, yet they moved exquisitely, as though he was threading a needle and also manipulating the needle for the art of healing. You've learned sewing before? Your hands move like those of a tailor, the god said in bewilderment. Somewhat. Qin Mu's vital qi transformed into thread and connected the nerves. I have learned it for a few years. God Bishi was curious. What else have you learned? Qin Mu's fingers moved faster and faster as he spoke. Formation skills, fist skills, pupil skills, knife skills, body techniques, forging, painting and calligraphy, carpentry, poems and songs. I know a little about all of them. The nerves in God Bishi's broken leg connected with the divine leg, and he could instantly feel it, which filled him with delighted surprise. He took a glance at Qin Mu and thought to himself, this brat's abilities ain't bad and his heart isn't bad as well. I really don't want to kill him just like this. What a pity. Qin Mu went to connect his blood vessels and used the dragon Chaline's dragon saliva to grow the flesh and blood. The bone marrow has still not fused. This part is the most difficult. Senior brother, bone marrow is used for creating blood and its impact is extremely large. I need to first cultivate it with medicine, then nourish it so it would be able to produce blood. Now, after your bone marrow starts working, you and I shall sign the Pact of Earth Count. You won't call upon the disaster and I will let you return to high heavens. God Bishi examined all the herbs, ensuring the youth didn't play any tricks, then smiled. Not a problem. Qin Mu let out a sigh of relief and ordered people to bring in a huge pot. After soaking the herbs in the water, he had people to light a fire and said, in about 2 days, the bone marrow will be able to start producing blood again. Move the huge pot closer, my hand can't leave 5 thunderpot, God Bishi immediately said. Qin Mu smiled at him. Senior brother Bishi sure does things seamlessly. Are you still scared I will do anything? The pot is right here, and you know I can't move it. If your hand is always on 5 thunderpot, I'm scared you may accidentally activate it. God Bishi looked at him and their gazes locked onto each other. Qin Mu didn't back down. God Bishi felt refreshed and full of vigor. He laughed loudly and said, fine, as you wish. Qin Mu sat down nearby and waited quietly. The divine flood dragon king guarded him by the side. God Bishi's primordial spirit guarded the sky, prepared to activate 5 thunderpot anytime while he soaked in the pot, slowly feeling the medicinal energy seeping into his wounded leg, nourishing his flesh. The medicinal energy gradually reached his bones, bringing life to his bone marrow. Comfortable. God Bishi was utterly bored, so he asked for fun, is Cult Master Qin married? I'm married. Qin Mu fetched a sundial and observed the time. The sundial had many marked scales and was very detailed. I married twice. What a pity. I planned to introduce a few beauties of my race when you came to high heavens. God Bishi chuckled. Your kids would have been half human and half horse. Just thinking about it makes me want to laugh. Ha 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 ha. Qin Mu didn't reply to him and continued to look at the sundial. God Bishi seemed to be in a good mood and kept talking nonsense, laughing from time to time. He seemed to be very pleased with himself. Without his notice, a day and a half passed while God Bishi's laughter grew louder and louder. His gaze towards Qin Mu was also becoming more and more unpleasant. Cult Master Qin, let me tell you a joke. In the past, there was a person who decided to cook a duck. When it was cooked and he was about to eat it, the duck flew away. Ha 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 ha, why aren't you laughing? Let me tell you another joke. The cooked duck flew back later on and ate that idiot. Ha 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 ha. Qin Mu remained motionless and continued to stare at the sundial. God Bishi looked at him fiercely and sneered, you don't laugh and you don't talk, are you discriminating against me? You are discriminating against me. I'm going to kill you. Qin Mu raised his head and smiled. Time's out, action. As he said that, there was a sudden tremor as 5 demons with green faces and tusks appeared around Fragrance Well. They whirled around 5 thunderpot and it vanished into thin air. God Bishi's primordial spirit stretched out to grab it, but he grabbed nothing. He only managed to grab one of the demons while roaring in anger. Thunder rumbled and the entire purple-chased city shook violently. Behind Qin Mu, the divine flood dragon king roared and revealed his true form, coiling around the courtyard of Fragrance Well. He stared at the primordial spirit of his enemy. God Bishi crushed the huge demon and immediately summoned his primordial spirit back. The moment it entered his body, he instantly felt evil chi pouring out from his wounded leg, invading all parts of his body, wandering between his primordial spirit and divine treasures. His blood couldn't help running cold as he hurried to execute his magic power to suppress it. Crap! After all that guarding, I still didn't manage to protect myself. The divine flood dragon king took the chance to pounce on him, and his body locked God Bishi tightly, making him unable to move. The grip was so tight that veins were bursting out on his forehead. Qin Mu stood up and pulled out carefree sword to throw it on the ground. Smiling, he said, "Senior brother Bishi, the ducks I cook can never fly away. Take the sword, you can cut off the poison parts yourself. Divine Flood Dragon King, let him go. When I cook ducks, I like them to cut themselves in pieces without my help. Now that you've been poisoned by me, Senior brother Bishi, you can only sever yourself from the neck down. Nothing below it can be kept." The Divine Flood Dragon King hesitated for a moment, but still let go. God Bishi roared loudly and his god's aura rolled out in waves, exploding the pot of medicinal liquid. He walked toward Qin Mu with his murderous intent overflowing into the sky. The Divine Flood Dragon King was extremely nervous. He was about to make a move when God Bishi suddenly dispersed his god's aura and knelt down on one knee with a sigh. "I've already surrendered once in the past, so what if I surrender again? I'm willing to submit." Qin Mu smiled at him. "Don't worry, the scenery at 100 Years Mountain is very nice and you are very suitable to stay there. Make an oath to Earth Count. Once you do it, I'll let you be the mountain god of 100 Years Mountain and you'll be able to enjoy your sacrifices." After half a day, God Bishi's face was very dark. He had ridden the wind and clouds to hurry to Deer County, which was beside surging river, with a frown. All around Deer County were barren hills of 3,000 feet and wild rivers. Where was the 300,000 feet mountain with beautiful scenery? God Bishi descended to the ground and asked a farmer, "Where's 100 Years Mountain?" "That's the one." God Bishi followed the direction of his finger and saw that 100 Years Mountain was actually a small hill which was saturated with the atmosphere of death. At the sight of it, he couldn't help shouting angrily, "That place is clearly a burial mound, a place to bury corpses. Why is it called 100 Years Mountain?" The farmer smiled at him. "What happens to an ordinary person after 100 years? Of course, it's death. Therefore it's named 100 Years Mountain. Everyone is buried there after reached 100 years. God Bishi was stunned, not understanding. "Isn't 100 Years Mountain supposed to be 300,000 feet high? You fool with the horn." The farmer couldn't resist himself as he scolded him. "When a dead person lies down, they are merely a few inches high. So to a dead person, isn't 100 Years Mountain 300,000 feet high?" God Bishi was furious and flew to 100 Years Mountain angrily. "Damn you, Qin brat!" Suddenly, surging river split apart and a huge head popped out from the center of the river, sizing him up curiously while laughing. "I was thinking who had such an aura of a god, and I see it's Dao friend Bishi. Why are you here as well? You were just cursing Qin brat, so what happened?" "So it's dragon rearing sovereign." God Bishi hurriedly greeted him while standing on the mountain peak. "I came to bring disaster to eternal peace, but I met Heavenly Devil Cult Master. There's no need for you to explain anymore, I get it." The huge dragon in the center of the river shook his body and changed into the human-shaped dragon rearing sovereign. He said with a solemn face, "He has a very honest face and looks easy to bully, right?" "How did you know?" God Bishi asked him with a strange look. Dragon rearing sovereign stamped his feet. Because of his honest-looking face, I became Surging River Dragon King. One god stood on the river and the other stood on 100 Years Mountain, looking speechlessly at each other in dismay. The river breeze whistled and the mountain wind howled. In early spring, both of them were bone-chilling. After a moment, dragon-rearing sovereign gradually sunk into the water as he said, "Tidy your 100 Years Mountain first, then build a mountain god temple. I will hold a banquet later to welcome you. Your mountain is too quiet, people will only go there during Pure Brightness Festival or Ghost Festival. The incense is very little. If you can't survive on it, I'll share some with you." God Bishi felt desolate. Dragon-rearing sovereign ate meat, so what he would share with him would also be people who had committed suicide in the river. Yet he was a vegetarian who had no fruit or trees on his mountain. There were quite a number of corpses though. I think I should first construct a temple. Once it is done, there might be believers who will bring me some fruits when they come to offer incense. As long as they are not spoiled, I can eat them. In purple-chased city, Qin Mu looked at the 15 yards tall 5 thunderpot in front of him and his head started to ache slightly. Such a huge bottle gourd contained energy to wipe out the world. If the 5 great thunderclouds were accidentally released, it would be a huge disaster which would wipe the world. Cult Master, what about this 5 thunderpot? Should we hide it? Everyone in Heavenly Devil Cult surrounded this bottle gourd and examined it, their hearts filled with terror. Qin Mu shook his head. This bottle gourd isn't safe anywhere. Any carelessness and the power inside will be activated. The heavenly lightning will strike, killing I don't know how many people. He circled around the bottle gourd, finding it a thorny problem. The worst part was that Eternal Peace Empire didn't simply have a 5 thunderpot, there were over a dozen more meteorological weapons like it which could destroy Eternal Peace Empire 10 times over. Qin Mu suddenly flicked a finger against 5 thunderpot, and everyone felt their hair stand on ends. In an instant, heavenly thunderclouds gathered over an area of dozens of yards, and 5 directions divine lightning struck down. After the wave of lightning, everyone was charred on the outside and their faces were black like charcoal. The courtyard in which they had been standing was destroyed by lightning in its entirety. In an instant, 1,000 bolts of lightning had struck down and the buildings collapsed, and even the land had melted. Qin Mu spewed out a mouthful of black smoke while pondering over it. This thing is not bad for tempering the corporeal body. Borrowing the power of the 5 great thunderclouds to cultivate can allow one to quickly cultivate the corporeal body. Let us carry it back home, back to the sacred cult. Cult Master. Everyone's expressions changed drastically, and Elder Saigong nearly cried out, if we carried it back to the sacred cult, it would be finished if the gourd accidentally exploded. Qin Mu was troubled. If this treasure can't be used by the sacred cult, won't it be wasted? Not at all, not at all. Elder Saigong immediately said. Qin Mu frowned and sighed ruefully. This thing has many uses, yet you guys don't know how good it is. Oh well, I'll just keep it. You guys can transfer it into my true dragon's nest. I have a use for it. Everyone looked at one another in dismay. 5 thunderpot was clearly an extremely dangerous thing, so how was it useful? It was clearly a ticking time bomb that could take one's life any time. If he put it in the dragon's nest, lightning would be unable to discharge in such a huge space, so if the power of 5 thunderpot burst forth, even gods would be struck to death by the 5 great thunderclouds. Other than using 5 thunderpot to refine the body, it can also be used to wipe out a sect. If I meet anyone I can't defeat, I can just give it a slap and drag them down with me. Qin Mu thought to himself. Everyone worked together to execute 5 demons transfer technique, sending 5 thunderpot into the true dragon's nest. As they did, not one of them considered that their cult master might have such a dangerous idea. Qin Mu thanked everyone and summoned the divine flood dragon king and the dragon Chalene. They were about to hurry to God Broken Mountain Range to check on the situation when Sai Yinxiang said, Cult Master, the Emperor is currently on his way here and will reach Purple Chased City in 7 days. Aren't you going to wait for him? Qin Mu stared at her with his eyes wide open. He cried out, You didn't tell him not to come. Sai Yinxiang shook her head. You only said there's no need to wait for him and didn't say to tell him to turn back. The Emperor is driving Sunshot Divine Cannon over, and the exhaustion of medicinal stones is staggering as they hurry over with desperation. Qin Mu's scalp crawled and he could almost see Emperor Yang Feng sharpening his knife in preparation to chop off his head. Quickly inform him that he doesn't have to come anymore. Qin Mu turned and jumped on the back of the Divine Flood Dragon King. The Emperor won't execute you, but he will definitely dare to execute me. Cai Yunxiang immediately complained. Don't you know how to praise a bad thing? Qin Mu rode the dragon into the distance, and his voice came from afar. Change the way to break the news to him, and he will even reward you. Praise a bad thing? Cai Yunxiang was first stunned, then came to a realization. She immediately asked Elder Saigong to bring her to find Emperor Yang Feng, who was on the cannon battery with the civil and military officials following him. They were surrounded by imperial guards that had an awe-inspiring presence. The 56 furnaces on the huge cannon burned non-stop, using up countless medicinal stones. They were still hurrying to purple-chased city. When Cai Yunxiang reached them, Emperor Yang Feng was ordering his people to fetch the medicinal stones from the city in front of them. The medicinal stones on the cannon battery had long run out, so he could only replenish them from the cities on the way. Congratulations, Your Majesty. Cai Yunxiang came forth to report. God Bishi of high heavens remembered Your Majesty's broad and powerful might, so he didn't dare to create a ruckus and submitted. Now, he will belong to eternal peace and be the mountain god of Deer County's 100 Years Mountain. He will guard Your Majesty's empire so it would last through the ages. Emperor Yang Feng was pleased when he looked around at the civil and military officials on his left and right while laughing loudly. That rebellious God Bishi actually knew when to fall back. He knew that I'm coming personally and he wouldn't be a match for me, so he might as well surrender. This is truly making me punch the air. How would he dare to offend Your Majesty's heavenly might? He could only surrender or else he would die a miserable death. Lord Yang immediately said. All the ministers congratulated Emperor Yang Feng, and he smiled from ear to ear. All of you have followed me, so you gain the credit as well. Everyone will be rewarded. All the ministers were delighted. This video will end here.